You're still with News 24. My name is Tshidi Madia. Joining me at the moment is the ANC Secretary General, Ace Magashule. But before I delve into this conversation, I just want to remind you, we are here with you throughout the day. We're bringing you updates, we're bringing you numbers that are coming up on the board, and we're bringing you different political characters who are sharing their views on the elections, how they went, and the way forward for the country. As I said, right now I'm joined by the ANC Secretary General, Ace. He joins me now. Hello, SG. Thank you so much for joining me.
Wonderful, lovely day today.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a very long time.
The day, on election day was going to be like this: no rain, no wind. Unfortunately,
that sounds like you're setting me up for an excuse about the weather.
Unfortunately,
I first want your views about that number, 57.68%. That's what the ANC is standing, from what I understand at the moment. Are you happy with those numbers?
Well, not that happy. Because we could have done better, and I think we are still going to do better. We have not done better because the weather was bad.
That's what I was saying to you. You're setting me up for this weather excuse already, so quickly.
It's not an excuse, it's a reality. Where I was in Botshabelo, Bloemfontein, the rain, the water was up to my knee here, so people could not go and vote. It's unlike in suburbs, wide areas, where you have schools, where you have facilities, where you get into a car, you go to a station, you vote, there's no queue. Unfortunate, but those are the inequalities of South Africa which we must fix as we move forward into the future.
One would argue that there was a time when the ANC was so loved by black South Africans particularly, actually South Africans across the board, that they would risk the rain, they would have the high water levels to make sure they put a mark next to the ANC to let you know they love you and they want you to vote for them. So in times like these, when the weather gets in the way, they go, oh, it's too cold. Does that not say something about the ANC?
Has it happened? It has not happened.
There was a time when you were so loved, you got to 2/3 majority. What happened?
No, there was no rain during those days. The weather was wonderful, my sister.
I'm struggling with that, SG. But anyway, it's taken a lot to get to this number. I mean, when you started off, South Africans were very mad. Some say this is an indication that you have been forgiven to a large extent by South Africans who are willing to give you yet another shot.
Well, South Africans love the ANC. South Africans have given the ANC another chance. With liberation movements, after 20 years, movements also vanish, they become smaller. But the ANC is still a very big part in South Africa. Remember, there are many young people who were born after apartheid. They don't know this apartheid and all that. Remember, part of the internal issues within the ANC have actually also cost us. Even though we have renewed the ANC, we are continuing to renew it. But we can't deny the fact that some of these issues which affected us in various provinces, be it Northwest, be it KZN, be it all over South Africa, we are actually affected. Those are some of the contributing factors. But the fact of the matter is that South Africans still have hope in the African National Congress. Not in us as leaders, in the African National Congress.
In the brand, ANC.
The ANC, the organization which has took them out of poverty, which is still continuing to go to still do it, to make sure that children are at school, to make sure that those who have no houses must have shelter tomorrow. We are going to continue with that. We have gone to a lot of areas where there was no water. You expect people to still vote us when we can see on daily basis these people sleep without food, without water, without electricity. Those are realities of South Africa. But it is wonderful to have multi-democracy in the whole world. It's only here in South Africa where you have 48 parties contesting for elections.
That was a very long ballot paper. Do you think the ANC can live up to people's expectations? Can it actually restore faith in the faith that people once had in the ANC? In this particular administration where you are the engine and the heartbeat of this organization, can you steer the ANC back towards the people?
The people have said to us,
one more chance.
This is another chance for you.
And maybe you're lost.
And there is no way we can fail the people. We must forget about ourselves as individuals. We must be selfless. We must learn from the mistakes which people might actually say we have committed collectively or as individuals. We must actually ensure that the unity of the ANC is paramount. And we must forget about factionalism. We must forget about individualism. We must forget about I'm the one in charge, I'm the one. We must actually move as a collective and make sure that we move with communities, not just with branch members of the ANC. We must be a community-orientated, driven organization as we used to be. And we will do it. We won't fail our people.
Is that possible?
Yes,
Let me ask you why I'm asking if it's possible. You raise factionalism right now. And the one observation some people made in the lead up to the elections during the campaign is that even the leaders of the ANC cannot help but bring factional issues into discussions, into campaigns, while they're out trying to meet with communities. Some of the things you've said, some people have said, but that's factional. Some things that have been said by other NEC members have been seen as factional. So for people, you're still so self-involved that you can't even fully operate or function and focus on one thing at a time. So I ask, when you say to South Africans, you can and you will, and we have millions of viewers here, when you say that to them, how seriously must they take that when we're seeing what we've been seeing in the middle of campaigns?
Well, that's why we must correct ourselves. But some of us, some of the people might have said the right things, and some within us will actually then say, one statement I've said, there is no way you hope as the ANC can be white South Africans, because I've said majority of white South Africans will continue voting, and this result tell you must go and analyze the white suburbs and analyze how many whites have moved away from the DA, moved away and voted Freedom Front.
Yes, it's quite spectacular.
Magashule is saying something is against non-racialism. No, but whatever somebody has said, even if us, we are not supposed to make certain comments. If somebody we think is wrong, he has said certain things publicly, we were also supposed to respond internally, so that we don't heighten these tensions and divisions.
Okay, because
so we learn from our mistakes. Even myself, I can only be corrected by a collective, by an organization, and I can assure the people of South Africa, we have no choice. If we are true members of the African National Congress,
sure,
we have no choice, but we have ourselves to blame.
There are two instances when you speak of yourself that come to mind. You know, there was a day where you're on a campaign in the Free State where you spoke about how you believe your phone, the DSG's phones were being bugged. I do understand you've taken some sort of action and went to go lay a formal complaint. That's what I heard after that. But do you think the timing was fair for you to then say, you know, your phones are bugged? Was the timing accurate?
No, but Zizi Kwata said it two weeks before me.
Is his timing okay? Is it because he did it, it's right when you do it?
No, I was not doing it because of the timing.
Sure.
I was actually worried that continuously people are actually doing what is not supposed to do against the law. But I agree that maybe the timing was not right. I could just have raised it internally.
Yes.
So I understand where
you take
people
the criticism
come from.
there.
I take the criticism.
Yeah.
I can't be this arrogant and say, no, I was right. And
the new ANC takes criticism. The other issue now, and maybe I'm also asking for clarity, I wasn't on the floor when you arrived, but I heard a lot of people saying, well, the history of the ANC says it's not about Cyril Ramaphosa. What we've been told, time and memoriam as journalists, is Cyril Ramaphosa punches above the ANC's weight. He's carrying the ANC, just like Nelson Mandela in during his era had to carry the ANC. His brand, personal brand, was bigger than the party. And now some are saying, do you give credit to Cyril Ramaphosa for the ANC retaining its majority? And apparently you said no, you don't give credit to Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't know how that was taken or understood.
Said I'm not giving credit.
I'm asking for clarity, okay?
I've said Cyril Ramaphosa is part of a collective. Cyril Ramaphosa is a member of the African National Congress. Cyril Ramaphosa is a South African. The ANC as an organization, Cyril Ramaphosa is not standing in any province. People in provinces have voted ANC. And Cyril Ramaphosa is part of our collective. Don't try and do what people have done, trying to isolate Mandela from the ANC. So don't isolate Cyril Ramaphosa from the ANC. What will the ANC be without me? It's something else. The ANC is not me. If branches, if volunteers of the ANC, if communities did not support us and support and campaign for us, who will actually do it? The best people who have done their work is not just even leaders. It's simple volunteers,
the
ordinary
ground forces,
community
the
members,
people on the ground,
supporters of the ANC, fans of the ANC, South Africans. So the people determine their own destiny. So the people have supported the organization, but Cyril Ramaphosa as an individual, like many other NEC members and other leaders, former presidents, have played their role. And this is where the ANC is. It's a collective role. Yeah. I'm not saying Cyril Ramaphosa has not played any role.
Okay.
It will be wrong for me to say that. As a leader of the ANC, the people love the ANC.
Do you have faith in him? I like the way that you use love. I don't want to use the word love. Do you have faith in Cyril Ramaphosa and that Cyril Ramaphosa will do right by both the ANC and the country, but mostly in leading the organization?
The way I have been schooled in the ANC, I have always respected the leadership of the ANC, from Oliver Tambo to Thabo Mbeki to Mandela to Zuma. Now it's Cyril Ramaphosa. That's how we are schooled. That's how we are cultured.
But you're also individuals. You might be a collective, but you're individuals within a system. And you're part of a top 6 leadership that has this massive job of putting this massive machinery together. Do you have faith that the person who's at the helm, working with you, leading the party, do you have faith that he will do right by the organization? And by all of you as leaders, because you must treat each other well.
All of us working together, the ANC can actually improve quite a lot. I can assure you, I'm not talking about Cyril Ramaphosa, I'm saying there is no individual who can be higher and better than an organization called the ANC. We are a different organization from these organizations of individuals. We are quite different.
So at no point do you score Cyril Ramaphosa as an individual? At no point do you score Ramaphosa as an individual leader within the party?
Don't see Comrade Cyril as an individual. Put Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa as the leader of the ANC. Who is schooled in the ANC politics? Cyril Ramaphosa, part of the collective.
A collective that you believe can unify the organization?
He has even to play a bigger role as the leader of the ANC.
Do you have faith that he can do
unifying.
that?
He has already started doing that. We have seen the
But
fruits.
you and I just spoke about the factions and saying that it does spill out. So when those things are happening,
factions
yes,
have been doing that, and those factions were no more factions of Cyril Ramaphosa and Nkosazana Dlamini.
Sure,
factions play themselves out in
they
different
evolved
forms
quite a lot, actually.
So
yes.
The fact that we still have people who are fighting inside the ANC, maybe genuinely so because certain things are going wrong, but it's not how we're actually taught by the ANC. If I have issues, I raise them internally.
That doesn't always happen. That's what I'm struggling with.
If it doesn't always happen, we have to do a lot of political education.
Yeah, I suppose.
As leaders, we have to be patient. You guys want us to resolve political issues within days. It doesn't happen.
Maybe it's us who are impatient, yeah.
You are very impatient. We are very patient because it can take years to put the ANC where it's supposed to be.
Now, we recognize that the SG is the engine of the movement. I'm going to narrow it down to you for a little bit because part of whether or not the ANC succeeds does lie with you.
The engine of the organization is the National Executive Committee.
And they say the heartbeat.
Part of them.
And they say the CEO and the heartbeat lies in your office. You know?
I don't know why people say that.
You're the day-to-day person. You run the organization. Do you feel comfortable in your space, in your office, in what you're doing? Do you feel respected in your space in the ANC?
Well, respect you earn. Respect you don't demand. If there are people who don't respect you, you just prove yourself by working hard, by doing right things, and automatically those people will respect you. You don't demand respect, you earn it. And earning respect takes time. If, for instance, I was not in good books of certain people, I have to prove myself. If I did certain things which are wrong things, I still have to earn that. And
have you
people
proven?
respect.
Do you feel you've proven yourself? I'm trying to get to the other end of the other side of this.
Time will tell.
You don't know yet.
Time will tell.
You know, SG, there's this.
It's not for me to say it. It must be people who were even against me as Secretary General. And
those people remain. That's what I'm trying to get to. That while 2017 was a long time ago, there's still some people who are hung up on you don't belong there, you're in the wrong office, you're not the man who's meant to be running the engine. I know you said the engine is the NEC, but you're not the man who's meant to be at the heartbeat. So my question to you is about that, is that do you feel comfortable when these voices still kind of sort of exist in the ANC?
I was elected by structures of the ANC.
Yes, you were.
That's why I feel comfortable, confident, strong all the time.
You're not worried they're going to try and unseat you now after the elections?
Why will they do that?
I just said to you, some feel you don't belong in that office.
When people unseat you, you must be that thing will only
Though
happen
you're
by the
elected,
National General Council, or
that's not that
the
far.
National General Council is not will be unseated by the National Conference.
National General Council is not that far. You speak of it now. Are you not worried that there is also a plot against Ace Magashule?
I don't worry about plots. It won't succeed in
Because
the
some in the
ANC.
ANC also read a book by Tshidi Madia in a different light. They saw that book as part of a plot, as opposed to a journalist went and wanted to look into a particular figure in the ANC. They saw it as this is part of a long plot to try and do something to Ace Magashule.
Well,
You didn't see it that way?
Of course, I see it that way.
You see it as a plot?
A young man of 27 years talking about my struggle credentials, doesn't know me. Where does he come from? I don't believe that he is the man who has written that book.
You think you're
but
sent
truth
to
be
do that?
told, you'll see things unfolding. Wait for the
You
next
keep
week
saying
or-
that to us, you know?
No, you don't rush. I'm not a lawyer. I have studied LLB when I passed it. And,
Yes.
I'm not a lawyer.
But you keep promising us a lot of
lawyers
things.
advise us.
Yes.
I'm so eager to go anywhere, even to the commission.
We're waiting
the
for all of
lawyers are
that.
saying, wait.
So the lawyers are making you wait on the commission, they're making you wait on Peter Louis' book.
Lawyers are lawyers. They better understand the law. You and I want to do things like we understand the law. No, the commission is not a court of law. There is a court of law. There are different roles which people play. I'm a politician.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
when
yes.
advised, I take the advice, but there will be legal processes. Don't rush.
They will.
Don't rush because you want us to rush. And when you rush, that is the trap which people are trying to put me in.
Also, you
I
think
can
people are
see
trying to
that
trap
trap.
you?
Yeah, no, because they say do it. And how many people,
I'm not
how
trying
many
to trap
people are
you.
not doing it? No, not you.
But I become part of that when I say, please tell us. Because to lay complaints is one thing without taking action. For me as an outsider, I go, okay, he says he's being bugged. How serious is he in making that claim? Is it just politics at play? Or if he's serious,
But I've reported to the Inspector
I'm not
General.
I'm linking it to the book. You say you think there's more to it, you think it's a plot. I'm watching you, waiting to see what you do to show the seriousness of the claims you make.
I hope you have read the book. The people in the book, I have not even met a lot of these people they are talking about. I've never met them. Yeah?
But over and above that, when you say there's a plot, one would seek to expose a plot that's out to get them. That's why I'm asking those particular questions.
When a young man knows that he has nothing to lose and they make use of him to write a book, what are you going to gain from him?
Are you not seeking the
watch
so-called people
space.
behind it?
Watch the space. At the right time, things will happen. And they are starting to happen. If you read, they are starting to happen.
That leads to my next question. Some claim that lawmakers will be set on Ace Magashule after the elections. Do you have any fear? Have you heard any talk about anything like that? That the SIU will come after you? Have you heard anything along those lines? And are you concerned about these kind of rumors? And again, it fits into the plot claims.
Well, that's what you guys are saying. This is what people are saying. So what?
So you've been hearing the same thing?
Well, I hear all these things all the time. There is no smoke without fire. But we leave matters there.
Are you worried?
I'm not worried at all.
Come what may, you ready, you
I'm not
standing?
worried at all.
You
Because
ready, you standing, yeah?
My conscience is very clear. I've not done anything wrong. I was making an example of a comrade called Mukola, who was put aside by Integrity Commission. He was charged criminally and all that 4 or 5 years. The man his charges are withdrawn now.
But it
Many
disrupted his
people who
life.
have been charged with so-called corruption after 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, acquitted by the court of law, and nothing is said about those people. There are many in South Africa.
Their lives have been disrupted for nothing, and nothing is said. So you see yourself falling into that kind of trap?
In '96, there was a commission of inquiry. When it was spread, I'm corrupt, and the former Premier, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, appointed the commission. He appointed the commission himself. The commission, and the commission is not a court of law. It cleared me, and the commission's findings are not binding. Cleared me.
It depends. So
who still
hold on,
goes back to that area and say, but in the eyes of the public, I was this corrupt individual.
Do you think you're still tainted based on a commission from set up by Mr. Lukota?
I've been tainted on the allegations of corruption against me
Back
as
then?
early as 1996.
So a figure's been built. You've been made this notorious character based on claims where you're cleared off, and they've carried through all the way to 2019.
Oh, if somebody says, for instance, a chap I don't even know, I've never met, ATM chap, he says we met.
Yes, because you're linked to this church and this party with former President Jacob Zuma.
The man doesn't even know me. The man has not even talked to me over the phone. I'm surprised. I just hear the man saying something. I say, but and you guys are saying take legal action.
Yeah, they're lying about action. You said there's no
legal
smoke without
action
fire.
is also money. You pay lawyers. You don't just. You don't.
But you know that now sounds like an excuse, though.
Some of these people who are just
you take them to court with cost.
You leave them.
But it taints your name.
What
you complain
will you
about
have
being
from
tainted,
a man who has no scent?
But it taints your name.
What do you do with
how
somebody
important
who
is
has no
your
scent? This young boy has
But how
nothing.
important is your credibility and your dignity?
I will
how
do
important
that.
Are those things?
Once I've done that, you are going to say Magashule doesn't respect the views of others.
We'd never.
But I will take
if it's about clearing your name, it's never.
My sister, I will take action.
I'm going to trust that you are, but I want to move on because I am running out of time. I want to come back to the ANC. What sort of ANC do you want to see? I mean, now the ANC has been given another mandate. The ANC government, what do you want it to do once it goes back into office, in essence, after being inaugurated and a new parliament has been opened? Maybe let's focus purely on the cabinet. What sort of cabinet do you want to see President Ramaphosa appoint for the ANC government?
A good cabinet, a cabinet
what
of men and women. You can't just say it's just people who work hard. People who will be loyal to South Africans. People who will be loyal to the constitution. People who will be loyal to the organization called the ANC. People who are going to know that they are there in parliament. They are there as ministers because of the party first and foremost, because of South Africans. People will remember that it is not their conscience which is actually leading them. They must remember the party because they did not come in their own names and tickets. They did not say, I Ace Magashule, I'm standing, and people voted I Ace Magashule. People voted the ANC. People will actually implement the resolutions of the National Conference, which is the highest decision-making body of the ANC. Once people can do all those things, we will not have a divided ANC. But once people move from the mandates given by branches of the ANC, as well as listening to the concerns of ordinary South Africans who have voted us, because we have not been put into government in parliament by ANC members, card-carrying members. We are voted by millions of South Africans, and we must actually satisfy those millions, including those who protested during the voting period. They did not vote, including those who have voted for other parties. Ours is to make sure we serve all South Africans so that we regain our ground, we regain our respect as the ANC. And I think all of us as leaders of the ANC, from the president, he has played that role. And all of us to follow and make sure that we do the right thing.
Okay, I'm pretty much done. I'm almost done. I've got a parting shot for you. The ANC list, there's been so much back and forth about it. The Integrity Commission was meant to table a report to the NEC. I think that happens now after the elections. What is the ANC going to do? What's the NEC going to do? The people that the Integrity Commission do not want to see serving the ANC, even in Parliament, will those people be dropped?
Don't judge people before you have even heard them. Don't judge people before you apply this universal principle of innocence until proven
So will the
otherwise.
Integrity Commission's report be ignored?
No, it won't be ignored.
Will it be
It will be
adhered to?
discussed.
Yeah?
Yeah. But individual ANC members know their rights as members of the ANC. We are a constitutional state, the Constitution of South Africa. And that's why those people are on the list, because they have not committed any crime. They have not. Otherwise, they were not going to be there.
The IEC did let them through, but South Africans have definitely complained about some of those names.
No, the IEC is following the Constitution and the law.
Yes, but the South Africans, you still want to serve and you still want us to love you.
It's not South Africans, it's the media.
I disagree, but I'm going to leave it at that. That was the ANC SG Secretary General Ace Magashule. Very interesting views there. I'm going to cut now to the floor where our colleague Alex is there. Let's go there and see what's happening. But from us, this is it. We'll be back much later to keep you updated on, again, the numbers and the politicians and what's happening here at the IEC's Results Operations Center. For News 24, I'm Tshidi Madia.